Good day. We are from Group 2 of Auditing and Assurance Group, Class Group K, and today our topic of discussion is the Lehman Brothers case that was taken place in the United States of America in the year 2008. I'm Ashley Lynn Burnett, matrix number 269433, and today I'll be talking about the introduction section of the Lehman Brothers case. Lehman Brothers Holding filed for bankruptcy on the 15th of September 2008 in the early morning of 1:45 a.m. This was the biggest bankruptcy case ever filed in the United States. This company was 164 years old and it was the fourth largest investment bank in the US, and its failure triggered the global financial crisis in 2008. The Lehman Brothers started with humble beginnings in 1844, where they began as a small general store in Montgomery, Alabama, founded by German brothers Henry, Emmanuel, and Mayer Lehman. Farmers used cotton to pay for their products, which contributed to the company's involvement in cotton trade. After Henry's death, the other Lehman brothers extended the company's reach to include commodity trading and brokerage services. When it collaborated with Goldman Sachs in IPO in 1906, the firm made the transition from commodities trading to investment banking. The company had faced many obstacles over the years. For example, weathered railroad failures in the 1800s, the Great Depression, two world wars, and even the Russian debt default in 1998, just to name a few. The Lehman Brothers had a tremendous boost of success in the 90s. Shearson, or American Express, had bought the company in 1984 for $360 million. Over the 10 years, American Express had owned the company before spinning it off in an IPO that made $3 billion in new cash. The repeal of Glass-Steagall Act, which prohibited banks from conducting investment and commercial banking business at the same time, enabled the Lehman Brothers to significantly expand by providing both these services. The parent organizations consist of Lehman Brothers Holding Incorporated and Planned Trust and the Lehman Cayman Islands Private Limited Company. While under subsidiaries, it consists of several incorporations, even one in Taiwan.
Hi, I'm Vishnu Subramaniam and my matrix number 270807. Now I'm going to explain about Lehman's scandal involved. So firstly in 2007, in February 2007, Lehman's stock price was $86 per share. And uh, in first quarter of 2007, US housing market dropped. Default subprime raised up to 7 years. And in 14th March of 2007, a biggest drop within 5 years, and it reflects Lehman's profit growth and drop Lehman's profitability ratio. Due to crisis in 2007, customers uh, unable to pay their debts. So because of this, Lehman's can't reach their profit on that year. This is due to Lehman's faults because they are simply approved customers' home loan without checking their credit rating. And the second one is end of 2007 and 2008. So in Lehman's share badly dropped due to financial crisis in 2007 within Bear Stearns hedge fund. On that month itself, Lehman's lost 1.2 mortgage loans and they are closed their three other branches. So in this time they used repo 105. So repo is a repurchase agreements usually used by company to to manage short term cash, but in Lehman's they use it to used in their balance sheets to look their balance sheets more healthier. So next is 2008. So in this period, US makes a recovery in housing market momentum. So help from momentum, Lehman's continue their mortgage market to get paid their profitability in 2008. So the next one is March 2008. So Lehman's brother reported an unclear financial condition to prevent failure due to the collapse of bear strings, and they thought that Lehman's would be the next Wall Street firm to failed following Bear Stearns' near collapse. Its share fell nearly 48% on 2018. So the next one is first and second quarter of 2008. So in this period, Lehman's used repo 105. So because of use of repo 105, Lehman's can removed about $50 billion commitments from their balance sheets, but Labans did fail to disclose about use of repo 105 to the government rating agencies and to the investors. And Layman's also not recognized repo as a loan, but they recognize as a sale. So because of this, they can reduce its net debts artificially. So this is help to decrease the amount of total assets and liability on the balance sheets of Lehman Brothers. So finally in September 2018, they announced an incorrect amount of liquidity pool, which is about 40 million, as a big portion of this amount was illiquid. So finally, in September 2008, they was closed Lehman Brothers. So that's all from me. Thank you.
Here's several causes of the Lehman bankruptcy. Firstly, is risk. The company had taken too much risk without having the ability to quickly collect cash. Its bankruptcy was caused by the cash flow crisis. The bank had 639 billion in assets in 2008, which was theoretically enough to offset its 613 billion of debt. The properties, on the other hand, were difficult to sell, hence resulting in the bankruptcy. The second cause is culture. Excessive risk-taking was rewarded by the management. Top executives decided to remain ahead of rivals who were also pursuing high-risk tactics, and they believed that the company was too intelligent to fail. Many of the Lehman risk management plans were overlooked, according to the company's chief risk officer. The third and final reason is overconfidence. Its sales increased by 130% between 2000 and 2006, thanks to early successes with mortgage-backed securities. The Lehman Brothers had purchased 5 mortgage lenders in 2003 to 2004 alone. Just as the real estate market began to decline, the firm relied on complicated financial product focused on rapid real estate development, and instead of selling them right away, it kept them on its books. The management believed that by owning these properties, it would lead them to make more money. But the timing couldn't have been any worse, as the real estate values were dropping drastically during that time.
Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Alia Nurhusna binti Izani and my metric number 272680. I will continue the presentation with what's effects to the auditor. The Lehman Brothers were one of the 5 largest United States investment companies. However, on September 15, 2008, the company filed for bankruptcy. The unpredictable collapse occurred with the involvement of Ernst & Young by allowing the Lehman Brothers executive to manipulate financial reports in order to keep their investor interested. According to the author of Sustainability and Governance said that the Ernst and Young was accused of issuing an unqualified opinion on the financial statement of Lehman when it was aware that the bank was using an accounting gimmick known as Repo 105 to make the financial report appear healthier than it really was. The term Repo 105 became well known following the collapse of Lehman Brothers. Lehman accountants employed the accounting gimmick to pay down $50 billion in liabilities with the aim of reducing the liability in the balance sheets before the publishing of the company's financial statement. Unfortunately, Ernst and Young obviously did not show any type of seniority over the Lehman Brothers by signing off and not auditing millions of fraud reports. Anton R. Valukas, who served as a bankruptcy court examiner for Lehman Brothers, concluded that Ernst and Young (EY) had not fulfilled its duties, and that's probable claims against EY for malpractice. According to the Reuters, in the New York lawsuit, claims against Ernst and Young (EY). Ernst and Young's auditing facilitated a massive accounting frauds. Ernst and Young paid $10 million in settlement of the lawsuit, and they also agreed to pay $99 million in fraud damage to investors. Lehman ended its 3 years bankruptcy in 2011 with a liquidation plans to repay creditor about $65 billions, or an average of about 21 cents of the dollar for allowed claims. Therefore, the conclusion is the participants will consider the role and effectiveness of independent auditor in ensuring complete and accurate financial statement and related public disclosure. That's all from me. I will pass to the next presenter. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum Doctor. I am Nur Arisana Namiti Muhammad Nasir 272624. So today I would like to present about the origination of Repo 105 transaction. Firstly, it is important to discuss the circumstances surrounding Lehman letter of sales through opinion. As mentioned earlier, for isolation to be considered under the FSAS 140 provision, there must be a true sales at law. Thus, to demonstrate that a firm and its creditors have no access to transferred securities even in the bankruptcy situation, the firm had to seek for opinion letter from legal specialists. Lehman could not secure a true sale opinion letter from a US lawyer because repos could not be treated as true sales in the US. However, Lehman was able to secure a true sale opinion letter from Linklaters, a law firm based in the UK in London. Furthermore, the letter was addressed to Lehman Brothers International or LBIE based in London and was to be used for the entity's business operation. If the letter was to be used for other purposes, consent from the law firm was required. However, Lehman was permitted to provide a copy of the letter to the auditors for the purpose of preparing financial statement. Since the true sales opinion was limited to the English law as applied to the English court, Lehman carried out all its repo transactions in the UK. Although the letter was intended to be used in connection to LBIE business transactions, LBIE executed a significant volume of repurchase agreements on behalf of some of the US-based Lehman entity. For transactions originating from securities owned by the US-based entity, LBIE received securities worth $105 via intercompany repurchase transactions and $5 from Lehman Brothers Holding to be used for cash transfer. LBIE then would find a European counterparty using the securities in exchange for $100 cash. It would then transfer the $100 cash it received from the proceeding fund with the $5 it had received from LBHI back to the US-based Lehman entity. The US-based Lehman entity would then use the money to repay its short-term debt. At maturity, LBIE would repurchase the securities from the European counterparty and then return the securities to the US-based Lehman entity through the intercompany repurchase transaction. Next is the Repo 105 transactions balance sheet effect. The use of Repo 105 transactions had a significant impact on Lehman's abilities to manage its balance sheet and leverage ratio. First, reclassifying and accounting for repo transaction as sale, Lehman was able to temporarily remove some of the security inventory from its balance sheet without having to record a liability indicating its obligation to repay the borrowed cash. Secondly, using the cash received from the Repo 105 transactions, Lehman was able to pay short-term liabilities of the same amount. Temporary removal of security inventory from its balance sheet and repayment of short-term liabilities of the same amount decreased both its total assets and liability. With declining changes in total assets and liabilities, the gross and net leverage will also decrease. Consequently, it increased investors' confidence and avoiding downgrading of its credit rating. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Nur Azra and my metric number is 272920. I'll be presenting the role of auditor in this case. There are three roles of auditor in this case. The first one is the window dressing. Based on Chen 2021, he said that window dressing is a strategy used by mutual funds or other portfolio managers to improve and enhance the appearance of fund performance before presenting it to the shareholders. The auditor in this case has been paid up to 21 million US dollar to do this. The second role of the auditor is taken limited liability partnership off the agenda for several years. This has led to a possible major corporation can press the body and agree a deal. There's an issue that will be ignored by the auditor, such as ring fence lawsuit. The third is the failure of auditing and problem spotting. The audit report given was manipulated and the transparent one have been hidden by the closed door. Ernst & Young has been covered up the case for several years. In a nutshell, Lehman Brothers has been filed bankruptcy on September 15, 2008, and the auditor in this case has been sued for 10 million US dollars for the auditing scandal, and on 2010 Ernst & Young have to pay up to 150 million US dollar to the shareholder because of the damage has been made from this case. But up till today there are no confirmation whether Ernst & Young was responsible for the bankruptcy of Lehman Brothers. That's all from us. Thank you.